Don't expect. Welcome back, friends. I'm still Arthur Perkins. This is still AP Gaming Real. During the break, some of you might have heard it if you were watching live. I don't know that the recording caught it, but everyone on the cast started congratulating Kelsa. I think that she's set the gold standard for characters, their stats, their motivations, their personalities, all displayed for everybody. And now I think everybody else is catching up to that. But like I said, the show will be a slow burn, and I'm sure over the next few weeks we'll knock out all the kinks.
I'm not even gonna try for this one. I'm gonna aim for that for next time.
I see.
I didn't write down the personalities because I didn't know people would be playing the other characters other than the one they was assigned.
Yeah, it'll only be in scenes where there are too many people, right?
I had notes, so I just put them on my sheet.
Of course.
But now it's there.
I also didn't write the orders as well. I did nothing nearly as well as
exactly.
Chelsea did.
I feel exactly the same way, and I have to like I was saying, the notes really helped nail Quintus specifically. There was a vision in mind just based on what you wrote there. So yeah, there's a fair amount of homework to be done still.
And I didn't even give a personality to everyone. Like, I didn't list Madhu's personality or Sventon's or Arya's, so probably should work on that. But
I think that you've helped set an idea for everybody of what they're looking for in their own house.
Totally.
Good.
Absolutely.
Dominga, tell me about House Tortuga and their main hall. I believe this is the kind of place that has 2 wings, one for each of the main siblings, and perhaps 2 thrones.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So I don't think that they have like a full-on throne because like they're not like high nobility.
They would have a seat though, right?
Yeah. There's definitely like 2 like lord seats next to each other. I think like maybe they're like decorated to be like 2 halves of the turtle of Tortugas, and she's sort of like sitting in the chair. Has the news come about like what's coming for us here yet?
I would like a description of the place first, but yes.
Oh, okay.
When you're ready for it, your maester has many messages from afar.
Yeah, so I think as far as what the hall looks like, I think it probably looks very much like it was built to be very austere, and then as the house gained in wealth and influence, because the house has been relatively on the upswing lately as opposed to on the downswing. And as kind of outside of a little spill a couple hundred years ago, has mostly just been rising in power, and so I think it's very well decorated, but the hall itself is very austere, and it's clearly made for it to be like a military fortification. I do think that the way Dominga has the hall set up is so that it's near one of the sort of portholes. So that you can see outside over the lake, and you see sort of connecting to the lake off in the distance where it connects to the Red River as it dumps out into the lake and then flows down towards Tartaruga land. And yeah, so she is I didn't specifically say what she was doing, but I think she would just kind of be responding to correspondence and letting everyone know that the Tortuga family is going to be making a big showing at the Malavar tournament, and that everyone better bring their best because she believes that her brother and cousin are going to take home the prizes at this event.
Very well. So noted. All of your houses receive such a raven.
So yeah, that's kind of like, because before I like really say what she is doing as kind of her main activity, I'm kind of curious if she knows what's coming.
Jensen comes over. His arm has like 4 ravens on it. The man's being weighed down He hobbles over under the weight of these massive birds carrying not small scrolls, but like large diplomatic patches. Tell me about him, because I'm going to play him for just a little while here.
Yeah. So Jensen is a northerner who landed in the Citadel. And for those who are less familiar with the world, once you go to the Citadel, if you're more important, you might be able to like tune where you go and like get a little bit of say in like who you get to go serve. But if you're less important, they pretty much just send you wherever they need a maester. So I think this guy hates the weather in Dorne. He's perpetually too hot. And like I think maybe he's like kind of like got very pale skin and like always has a sunburn. So it's like kind of like if someone like me had to live in the desert, basically. But I think that he is very loyal. He likes the house, hates where it's situated. I think he plays mediator a little bit between the siblings, and that he's old enough to have seen them grow up, and has kind of always been in a little bit of that mediator role. Yeah, does that give you kind of
it does.
a
It
good
does.
basis?
He meets Dominga's eyes, but you can see in his gaze that he does not bring the best news. Lady Dominga, I have ravens from Startani and Balfour, and more besides. They are bringing their warships from afar and will be passing through our lands, wishing permission to land them at our keep and hold them there while they go to the tournament. They are, however, addressed to your brother Ephraim, not to you.
I addressed it to both.
Okay.
One of them is addressed to both. In retrospect, I guess.
Pharrell would definitely be redressing Ephraim.
I suppose this is not so far from plan. My brother shall be in Tartaruga territory. We were hoping that we could have an early start on the tournament, but I did warn him that others may be coming and to prepare to send troops back home. It has always been our duty to guard the gates of the river and make sure that nobody gets through without our permission. Perhaps...
Should I be dictating this down, Lady Dominga? I, of course, already know all of this information.
Yes.
Very well. Allow me to start from the beginning again. So he like brushes these ravens off, and they like step sideways down his arm as he keeps brushing them. Then they fly back to the rookery, and he pulls out, something to begin writing down.
We'll need my brother to make sure that Lord, now I'm going to forget the names that I gave all these people. Who's the Lord of...
Your Banner Lord?
Yeah.
Mustafa Tartaruga.
No, but who's his dad?
His father is Eston Tartaruga.
Oh, yeah, Eston. We have to make sure that Eston sends his troops, preferably the archers and his support troops. What do you think about if these people are going to be passing through our lands to get to the tournament? Perhaps they should pay to do so. The rivers have always been ours. They were granted to us back when Nymeria first landed her ships.
Lady Dominga, they shall pay a heavy toll in food and hospitality costs. Their crews and ships shall remain here, and they will need provisions and horses to travel with. If we were to levy another tax upon them, it would be very blatant, but not exceeding their authority.
We'll hold off for now.
Shall I arrange for your personal merchants to begin withholding supplies from the markets? When they arrive, they will find prices greatly increased.
Do so.
Of course.
As I would also wish that you would send letters to everyone Let them know that they are all welcome in Tetsuo Hall, or Tetsudo Hall. That means turtle, or shell, I think, maybe. Can't remember. One or the other. Anyway, let them know that they are welcome. I will throw let's call it a pre-tourney event. If everyone is going to be passing through our land, we may as well take advantage of the time here and build diplomatic ties. Send letter to the Aanthe as well as the Malavar. I don't want them to feel slighted, though I doubt they will come, seeing as that would mean going in the other direction.
There is one more piece of business.
What is it?
Our merchants have reported during their transit into Tartaruga lands that Tartarugans and the Malavar are speaking quite closely these days. Conversations which do not include you, Lady Dominga, or your brother.
I think, like, Dominga's eyes flash with anger. I don't know that I really described her very well. She's like a very sort of imperious looking woman. She's got both her and her brother have darker complexion. Sort of, I've described it as like southern Spain or northern Africa. She's got long dark hair, and I think she carries a blade, which is like a little bit uncommon for women in the realm, but is less so in Dorne. But it's very clearly ceremonial, right? It's like very decorated hilt, and like it's clear that she doesn't do any fighting with this weapon. She's also dressed really, really well, and she's probably wearing like clothes that were tailored in the Reach, because that's where all of the good fashion comes from. But it's all done in a very distinctly Dornish style. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the main thing she does. I think what she'll say is, tell my brother he's going to have to put some pressure on Eston. He is a bore when it comes to these things, but there's no way Eston will make the trip himself, and I cannot leave at this time, especially if all of these folks are going to be coming. Preparations will need to be made on our end. And I think maybe if there is a roll, that's it. Like,
no roll.
Probably preparations to be made for a feast. No, for like some kind of like event for these people. No. All right.
It'll just happen when they arrive. There's no rule to be made. You are perfectly capable of holding a feast.
That's what I thought, but I didn't know if it was like a status roll or something to like. No. All right. Cool. Yeah. So I think that's
there is such a role to organize a tournament. I mean, your whole house has to be behind something like that, but a simple feast. I mean, one might have a house of the wealth that most of you have. Such feast might be common every night. Some of you not so much. Maybe not the Saphiri or the Tartarugas. They're very poor. Not everyone can be like Eoth with all that saffron money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the scene.
The Palamedes send a raven to everyone. One catches all of the people that are on the ship, and back home, their home people also catch one as well. They sent a raven to everyone just to be sure, informing them that the Palamedes are far too powerful to be involved in this tournament, and will be sending no one, for they do not wish to embarrass all of their neighbors. And besides, there are better things to do.
Lame.
That's troubling.
Do you want a scene with the Tartarugas? Because it sounds like I gotta.
Oh,
do some stuff
good sir. You have not arrived in Tartaruga's land yet.
Okay,
You
so
will not
exactly.
arrive until. So you're traveling by mountain road to get there, correct? You will not even arrive until next week. So it'll
take me 2 weeks
it
to
will
get
yes,
there?
it'll take you 2 weeks to get there, and then 1 more week to get to Malabar Lands. So you will get to Malabar Lands just in time. You will arrive on week 3 in Tartaruga and week 4 in Malabar.
Okay.
You'll be
so
able to do something when you're
how does
in.
it work? How does it work with commanding a banner house's troops then?
You go through that character, but that House Lord has the final call, and of course you don't control them. I've got them.
So can I send a letter, because if possible, I would like the troops that I want in my lands to be going the other way, so that they're in time for the warships to be there.
Explain to me which troops are going where.
Basically, if possible, I want the elite archers, which is the Red River
100 cousins.
regulars.
Oh,
No, that's the Red River regulars.
yes,
So
got it.
that's Banner House. And then their elite support, which don't have a name yet, to move into Tartuga land to join the 100 cousins and my green archers.
I see.
And then the reasoning there is basically like, as is tradition, we have a castle at the head of the river and we can stop anyone coming into your lands. Like, this has always been kind of the bargain, right? It's like, we help out and we make sure no one gets to you.
Word of their response will come at the beginning of the next week.
Okay, cool.
And then you're setting the elite archers and the support unit?
Yeah.
Okay. Elite
Would be
archers and
moving
support.
to my lands.
Taruga, got it. Palamedes, next up is House Haired. You, House Bellafor, receive a foot messenger that has arrived by boat. Your lord,
by boat.
your lord, Joran is out. Correct? He has left already by warship. Lord
Jorel has left
Yes.
by warship, along with the Lady of the House and Lady Ophelia.
Who is in charge?
That would be the Master at Arms, Duncan, Idaho.
Good Duncan receives a message from Corbin of Haired indicating that he and his warships will be passing through the area and would love to meet with Jorel on their way to the tournament. Their house is not good enough to have a maester, so they have no ravens to send. And as this message comes, a sighting heads through to Duncan that warships bearing the banner of the Haired have been seen approaching your lands. So they sent someone barely hours ahead of them to say, hey, we're passing through here. We'd love to chat with your lord, who, of course, is not present.
Duncan looks at the foot messenger intimidatingly and says, where is your lord headed?
I am not privy to all such information. But...
Boy, where is your lord headed?
Lord Corbin heads here. Bryce of the Brine and Beckett Sand wish permission to cross through your realm with our warships. Corbin wishes to speak with Jorel. Sorry, he would say Lord Jorel, because he'd be...
Where do your warships head?
To the tourney, of course.
My lord is also headed to the tourney. They may see me presently. Take that message.
They anchor outside of your town. So they're definitely inside your riverlands, but they're not trying to threaten the city in any way.
Okay.
Normally there would be no question that they would. Right. You got, from what I understand, you have a decade-long relationship of allowing. They will send a messenger to say, "Hey, we're gonna leave the river mouth," and you'll be like, "Okay, it's good." Right. But they're treating this situation with respect. They're not approaching the town. It's a little unusual. They send out a boat, and Corbin of Haired enters. And Duncan,
My lord,
where is the man I have come to speak to?
he is himself making a journey to the tourney.
Well, I am not going to any tourney. I shall return by boat presently.
This is a surprise.
I am sending Bryce
was-
of the Brine. I have no reason to go to any tournaments. There is much business that I have to do locally.
I understand. My lord has decided that he and his lady and his mother-in-law will be doing business there themselves. I am here to make sure that the lands are tended to and answer to any calls if needed.
So when you say any calls if needed, his demeanor changes and he says, "Oh, well, why do you not offer me bread and salt then? Let us sit and speak for a while as men do. I think we have much to discuss, Duncan."
One of the servers comes up and brings the traditional bread and salt, and then calls for ale and a small feast.
I have your permission to allow my ships to pass through your territory and back then.
You do, my lord. The relationship, the friendship between our houses.
Let's talk more
Requires
about
nothing
that
more.
friendship. So he adjusts his belt as he starts to get into this food here. I think he's probably like waving a chicken leg around while chewing on it. It's a little rude, but nothing you wouldn't expect from a Stormlander lord.
In the Stormlands, we have turkeys, not chickens.
Sure,
but
he's waving a turkey leg around. He likes that dark meat too. Yeah, he likes the darker the better. He's picking through for the fine stuff. He gestures for someone to send a message to the ships, you know, like raise a flag so that the ships know that they can just pass through. Have you had any experience fighting the Dornish yourself, Duncan?
only when defending my lands.
Well, what leeway do you have to defend the Stormlands with, should the jackals of the south intrude upon our great territory? If I am attacked, will you come?
Do you suspect something, my lord?
There is much movement along my southern border, and the snakes trouble me much. I am concerned that I might need to be proactive soon.
Proactive? I do not know of any conflict on your borders. Is this
Nothing
something
yet.
that I need to send a raven about, my lord?
Nothing yet, nothing yet. I'm sure that a man of your esteem would not be looked down upon if you were to ride to the aid of a close ally in their time of need.
I will offer whatever aid I can muster that does not threaten the offer, that does not leave my land vulnerable while my lord is away.
I don't want to make a full intrigue check out of this, but I do want to see if he can roll to get you on his side here.
Okay.
His, and we can even do counter intrigue checks if you have something you would like to get out of him. His go-to here is that he's of higher status than you. You technically have the ability to come to his aid if he wants to, and he is wondering if maybe there is a question about where the border lays. Will you come to his aid? Do we need to make a roll here? Let's start there. Will you will you at least tell him that you will ride to his aid?
I've just given him that information by what my answer, right? Because
Yes.
what I said was, of course I will come to his aid if as long as it does not threaten my lands while my lord is away.
Yes. All right. Then there is no roll needed then. My apologies. Yeah. He seems to his machinations end, right? He goes into full feast mode. He's chowing down on bread and dark turkey. There's a lot of gravy involved, like way more gravy than one would ration for a single person.
As he begins to relax and sort of just enjoy the feast, I said, "My lord, if I may be so bold,
Aye?
while I do not trust the sand snakes, I'm curious as to what concerns you have, both our warships and my lord, my lady, and there's a bit of a pause just for a second. The Lady Ophelia." And when he says that name, there's a little bit of difference to what he's trying to communicate.
Interesting. Ships do not fight in the sea of a desert.
You are correct, sir, my lord. I wish to understand what you see as being a threat or a challenge there.
There are rumors all up and down the Sugarway.
Our maester can get us a raven quickly to my lord and our ladies.
I do not wish to alarm anyone. I simply want to be ready, just in case anything happens.
My lord, you know Lord Jarrell. You've feasted with him. You know his counsel and his keep.
I have.
You know that he does not want to be caught off guard in any given situation. And while I don't always agree with his decisions, there is prudence in his choices.
Oh boy. You are the one making the intrigue check here. You want to know what this guy's plan is, I would say.
Exactly.
I would like you to, I think it would not be unreasonable to say that you are making a convince check using your will. If you have any convince dice.
This character is not completely statted out so far, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep it as a SKU for now. And what's my target?
9.
Oh, Jesus.
Trying to hit on probably what are like 2 or 3 dice. This is going to be fairly difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 dice. So, yeah. Until I stat this out a little bit more, it's definitely going to be...
It's like trying to roll a 10 on a Powered by the Apocalypse. No! Oh, boy! Oh, you overplay your hand so bad, and this guy revels in it. He spends the rest of the night talking around you and just dropping hints, but you never get a clue as to what his real intention is with this. Duncan is just simply not that kind of guy, you know? He's very straightforward.
Yeah, he's not right now. He's not, at least.
And he is speaking with someone who is a master manipulator. Yeah, it does not work out for him. Anyway, Duncan departs later that night by horse to return back to Haired... Or, sorry, not Duncan. Corbin returns by horse back to Haired Lands. Probably he would catch like a small ferry or something.
I have a quick question for you, since we're starting this.
Mm-hmm.
Are the orders sheets free so that we can start working on next set of orders?
Yep.
Okay, good.
I've already put it all down in my secret notebook.
Fantastic, because Duncan just screwed up.
Startani. Your transit begins in accordance with your orders. Lord Mercutio is the highest ranking noble left behind, correct? Lord Mercutio is given to answering a call from a Saphiri envoy. The man has ridden down the Sugarway, taken a boat onto your island citadel. Why don't you tell me what this island looks like? So it is an island in the middle of a very important trade river, at the very mouth of it. It is like an armed fortress city. It's pretty cool. And there's a port on the other coast away from it.
I think around the city and the armed fortress, it's like kind of an oasis in the middle of the desert. Like there's palm trees and the flowers you can see at the when you imagine a desert oasis, that's what it looks like, except in reverse because the water's on the outside instead of on the inside. There's not a lot of people that I don't have a high population, so even though it's a small island, it's not super crowded.
You are given to answering a call, Lord Mercutio, from an envoy named Habib of the Saphir. His rank is not immediately apparent in this message. And let's be clear here, there are few people attending your, I wouldn't even call it a palace, your hall. There are few here, and many appear slow in responding to your summons and orders. You are unloved by your people. But you are presented with a silver tray upon which is a message indicating Habib would like to speak with you as soon as possible. It is, of course, addressed to Lady Callista.
Send a message back saying that Lady Callista is gone, but Lord Mercutio is in.
An hour later, Habib presents himself. The man walks in without a shirt on. This dude is ripped. I mean, we're talking not just abs and oiled up, but the dude is also rocking those extra muscles underneath the armpit area, shoulders, lats, delts. This dude is super ripped, and he is wearing like an extended loincloth skirt of some sort of desert animal he's killed. Mercutio hasn't spent enough time in the south to know what it is, but probably he might not be wearing anything underneath that skirt. This dude might have just walked in with skirt and sandals, and that's it.
That's fair.
He smiles and drops to one knee and says, Lord Mercutio, I am Habib of the Saphir. I was to understand that I was to speak with Lady Callista when we arranged for this meeting. Might I ask where she is?
She went to go and watch the tournament.
Ah, my apologies. I was looking forward to meeting with your wonderful wife. I had prepared so long for this day.
What for?
I have heard that there are many interesting things in the house of Startani. Many interesting things indeed. Have you heard of these troubles along the Sugarway? These bandits who raid your lands and mine as well.
I have heard of them.
My lord wishes to entreat with you that our forces be allowed to come into your lands in order to hunt down these villainous bandits. For a small fee, we could perform the service for you.
What fee?
It is negotiable. Are you interested in such an offer?
May we have time to think about it?
Of course, I will be here all week. I have come specifically for, and you can tell he's about to say Lady Callista, and instead he says, the honor of the Startanis and our close relationship with our new neighbors from the north. He gives you he's still kneeling, but he stands up and gives you a very northern bow. And then turns out, as he does, he just flexes his back muscles. Camera zooms in on that. There's a glinting in the setting sunlight off of them. Mercutio is left alone in his house seat.
All right.
Is there anything else you want to do, Startani?
Probably not. Everybody else is on the boat.
Okay, the Lords of House Startani and the Lords of House Balfour and the warships of the command of Bryce of the Brine all meet up. So you guys have like a convoy fleet of 3 sets of warships full of people heading to the tournament, and they have all grouped up together for, you know, speed and such. At the very least, the haired seamen would like to pass their crewmen around between the boats at night when you're anchored. You know, like go over to your guys' ships and like drink with your sailors and gamble and dice and such. Do you allow it? It's a slightly unusual situation, but not unheard of.
Who makes the request?
Beckett Sand, Squire of Bryce of the Brine. He is like a 9-year-old kid.
I will allow it. I designate one ship where they can meet up.
Ah, so you're like creating the neutral zone of the whole fleet then.
I created a neutral zone, like a little party ship, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is on point for you, Cotton. You love the party bots, especially if they're squid shaped. Do the barrel fours also perform on the party boat?
Balfour, you mean?
Yeah, Balfour, sorry. Do they drink and dance and sing and gamble?
Does the Squire do the same? To the Balfours? Does he extend to the Balfours?
Yes, of course. Yep. He heads over on like a little, like a little skiff and tries to catch the wind to catch up with their ships. And then we would like permission, Lord Jorel, if you would join us. The Startani have generously offered one of their ships at night for any crew may join them. Drinking, gambling, all sorts of pleasures, I suppose. This kid is very clearly of Dornish descent, black hair, but it's also got like a little sprinkle of blonde sand in it. You can tell he's trying to grow out a little chin beard, but it's only like 3 hairs.
So he's not quite hit puberty yet.
Oh, certainly not. No.
How tall is this kid?
Maybe like 4.5 feet.
Oh, so he's not quite short. Okay.
No. He could grow up to be a pretty tall kid. I mean, given how old he is.
Jorel kind of looks at him with a little bit of a smirk and a smile on his face, and taps him on the shoulder with his left hand.
Oh, your hand is much bigger than his shoulder.
Right, but so like he just like, well, aren't you an ambitious lad? Who put you up to this little thing? Was it the Brine?
Bryce of the Brine, yeah. He commands the Herdish ships.
Interesting. We'll
Looking forward to meeting you at the tourney. I was told to say that.
But not on the party, not on the ship. Will he be joining us?
If you are going, I am sure that he would meet with you as well on such a vessel.
Kind of smiles and smirks and sure, tell the tosser I'll be there.
I will deliver your message with all respect.
Deliver it how you like. I'll be there nonetheless.
Yeah, you're putting some pressure on a 9-year-old kid that has to report to his knight. The word tosser will certainly not be the one he uses.
He kind of shrugs and says, "You get bored over there, you know. We've got some squires here you can play with. They'll give you a right good beating and bruises but it might toughen you up, make you worth your salt."
There's like a slight shaking so far. He's been pretty deferential and calm, but what you have just said has angered him greatly, and so he stands, and as he turns to go, he says, "This one is plenty tough as it is, Lord." Straight back, he turns to walk out, but he's doing it military style, but his arms are super straight as he marches out.
When you're ready to prove that, boy, you come back this way, or we'll see you at the tourney and make sure that the proof is in the pudding.
Oh my god, this kid wasn't going to compete in the tourney, but I'm totally making him do it now. This kid is going into the melee.
As he turns around, standing behind him are Lady Lynette and Lady Ophelia. And as he turns around, Lady Ophelia is giving him this dirty look, and he's like, "What? I wanted the young man to play with us." And she just kind of turns and scoffs and walks away as Lynette just shakes her head.
Very well. Friends, that brings us to the end of the first week of the game. Please, if you would, prepare orders for week 2. But allow me to say, before we do those orders, are there any last-minute messages you would send between your houses to any other house?
They all got my invites, right?
Correct. They are all heading to your feast. Whether they accept that or not is up to them.
So you're basically holding a pre-tournament feast at your castle.
Basically, everyone has to stop at my castle. So
everyone is coming that way at least.
Yeah, but I also invited Ianthi and Malavar, who are hosting the tournament and on the way, because I don't want it to be rude that I left them out.
I have a question for House Tortuga.
Yep, that's Sam.
Duncan never actually got into a battle with. I don't think Balfour and Tortuga have ever gotten into direct conflict.
They're very far away, and there are many people between them.
Right, but they might have fought together. So, as I think we established this previously, that it was during the Greyjoy Rebellion that was what rose Jarrell to his status. But that doesn't mean Balfour and the Stormlands weren't also participating, as the banners were called, because this was Robert's, fight to bring back the Greyjoys, and under the Iron Throne's rule. So the question I have is whether House Balfour before Jarrell took over and House Tortuga actually had any relationship whatsoever, even if it was just in passing and being on the same battlefield kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think from what I remember, and if I'm wrong, whatever, we can deal with it later. But from what I remember, that the Greyjoy Rebellion was a pretty all hands on deck situation. Yeah, so right. You get called, we came, right? So like for sure, Tortuga would have been at the battle there of the Iron Islands. And we have good, really Tartaruga as well would have come with us, and they have really good support troops. So that may be a tie-in why they would meet more larger groups of people than they might otherwise. But I think probably that just like being a House of the Stormlands, and them being Dornish, there's maybe some like longer term history of conflict, but probably in the recent times, it's always been very friendly. I would say that there's some mild dislike of Robert in general, just because of his ties to the Lannisters, and Tortuga really does not like the Lannisters for what they did to Dorne after the Siege of King's Landing.
Sure. The question that I'm having is I'm wondering if Duncan would have, before he became the Master at Arms, before he became responsible for sort of the thing, he would have been either a sergeant or some sort of lieutenant or sort of a leader of men, but not like in charge of any particular regime or kind of a battalion. If he would have been connected to either Tortuga or your banner house in any way, shape, or form, anybody there, and if like he would have not a beneficial relationship, but like a relationship that would be more like veterans fighting in the same war, but being on different sides, kind of a thing, sort of like a relationship with anybody. Yeah,
that totally works. Especially like it could be maybe just like somebody who is a member of the personal guard, the 100 cousins. There aren't actually 100 of them, but that's their
actually
name.
I want to fill this in here. Units of infantry are in 100 person size, so there are exactly.
Does personal guard count as infantry unit?
Yes, they're foot unit, right?
Oh, cool, perfect. Yes. All right, yeah.
There are 100 of them.
they're a bunch of rowdy boys. So like if like they're totally the type that would like be could have been drinking buddies during like one of the wars, could have like been the type that would see if you would have met them on the field of battle multiple times, they would have that be the type to have that type of kinship, even if they're maybe not on the same side or maybe not always on the same side. That's less of a problem for these types of people and the culture of that the company.
Okay, I that's as much as I'm going to ask publicly. I'll send you a message privately, Sam.
Very
About something
well.
like that. Okay.
Any messages you would like to send between your house? Final decisions on orders.
I want to send one to the Tortugas.
Okay.
I also do.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you say?
There's a. Sorry, go ahead.
You can go ahead.
I was just going to say I was going to send a message as a part of my orders directly to Jarrell. So if that.
You're sending a message to yourself? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Did we get the invitation to the feast on the ships?
You did.
Okay. Well, they get a letter from Callista addressed to whoever addressed the feast letter,
It would have been from Dominga.
saying that they'll accept. And then they also get a letter from Mercutio asking them to deliver a letter to Callista when she gets there.
So
gotta retweet literally.
I wasn't sure if I'd make it on the ship. So
Could you recrow my raven?
question, AP.
Yes.
So like I still have a week's travel to get to the tournament for the people who went to Tartaruga Land, but can I basically
the Tartarugas have to finish traveling to Tartaruga, or your Tortugas have to spend a whole second week traveling to Tartaruga Lands, right?
Oh, right,
Because you're going through the
right.
mountains.
But basically, so like when I am ready to go, basically when I arrive in week 3, can I like do something where I like do something while I'm in lands and still then travel to the tournament and be there by the end of week 3? Okay.
Yep. As long as you're not like, I would like to have a week-long feast. As long as it's just like, we want to have a meeting and then go. Yes.
Yeah. Would logistically I be able to send someone on horseback to this and then still get back in time for the tournament?
The feast?
Yeah.
Allow me to see. You have to travel through several lands.
I'd have to travel through my own lands, then Tartaruga lands, and then Tortuga's
So
lands.
you would do your own lands and the Tartaruga lands in 1 week because horses move at double speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would take you 2 weeks. So you would arrive. You would arrive in week 4. Right?
Oh, I should have been on horseback. I should have said that.
You would send someone in week 2, right? They would arrive in Tartaruga in week 3, and then they would arrive in the next area in week 4. It would take.
Okay, so logistically, it really wouldn't work out.
Yes.
So then I will be sending.
You could send someone who isn't going to the tournament, of course. You could, and they would. By the time you arrived, everyone would be gone, right?
No, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm gonna send my apologies via Raven. You'll get a message that, House Ianthe appreciates the invitation to this fantastic feast in preparation for the prior commitment of Malavar tournament. We must respectively decline.
Very well.
That's what we were expecting. It's okay.
Given what Kelsa has just done with House Ianthe, House Balfour from the fleet would respond in kind to the invitation to House Tortuga for the meeting and say, in short, we'll be there.
Cool. Alrighty. Let's order it up.
Sorry, Cotton. I think the Startanis, or did you did it right? You said we will be attending. That was your message. Very well. Prepare your orders, both for week 2 and for our next week's episode, because there's absolutely no way we're going any further than this. Look, I'm just glad we got through the first episode. It's 2 years and 2 months in the making.
I'm glad that we've had no more technical issues.
Oh my goodness.
I'm super excited for like when we get this like rotation down and like we get into the flow of this. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited.
Look,
All right.
I'm looking forward to this feast. There's going to be a whole lot of people in Dominga's house.
She's good at hosting feasts. That's her job.
Well,
So
we'll see about that. We'll see how the feast goes. Friends, please remember to finish your orders during the week for homework. This is the show, the homework show, for sure. Audience, thank you for joining us through our times and tribulations. Hopefully you've enjoyed our time together. Let us know in chat, on Discord, or on the YouTube comment section your thoughts about this episode. Improvements we could make, things that you didn't like to see, who your favorite character is. For me, it's the dog. I don't know that I remember the dog's name, but the dog is now the only character I care about. Also the pig. We haven't seen
the pig.
We haven't seen the pig yet, but the pig is definitely.
Who bought the pig?
You bought the pig. You said you were going to buy a pig,
Empty, right?
No, it was Sartani. Cotton said she
yeah.
wanted a pig. You didn't buy a pig? All right,
I'm gonna buy your pig.
I'm friends with a non-existent pig now. It's a fictional, and even in the fiction, it's non-existent.
Name that pig.
The character who has the pig didn't show up.
Fine. I'm gonna give the Saphiri a pig then. You know, one of those desert pigs.
My heir has a pig. She's got a dog and a pig.
I understand. That pig, I would die for this pig. Okay, your whole house is gonna be burning. The city will be sinking into the water. Dragons will be flying overhead, and I'll still be like, "Where's the pig?" Let's zoom in on that scene.
I want one of those little mini pigs that can be like in the house.
Really, all pigs can be in the house. It's just it's a question of how you want the house to be.
That is true. My mom used to have a pet pig in her house named Rosie.
Let's do outros. We're gonna do reverse order from how we started. Video Store Cowboy, I hope you've enjoyed your time here tonight. I know that you're dying over Duncan's misroll. You are beating yourself up really bad over that.
Yeah, I'm writing the letter, the letter that is going to go by Raven through Sirio to Jarrell from Duncan, and trying to figure out how to to write it in a way that isn't going to piss Jarrell off right now.
Just to be clear, you are writing a letter to yourself through 3 fictional characters.
Amazing.
This is the George R.R. Martin level of immersion that we need in this game.
The level of fuckery. I mean, this is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I'm trying to, because Jarrell is not going to be happy about. It's not necessarily that it's going to be happy that he failed so much as that he didn't get any information at all. It's just this is I'm having a good time with this. The orders system, the playing of different roles, the watching of the way that this is kind of coming down. There are so many different levels of gaming going on here, and so many different levels of like storytelling and improv. I'm really intrigued. I like the idea that there's an element of like straight up like people at a table playing a game. I'm loving the strategic and tactic elements of this. I'm loving the lensing aspect of going at the macro level down to the micro level. There's so many good things about this going on so far. I'm really looking forward to how this this kind of evolves. And before I do anything else for an outro, I'm going to say, Kelsa, again, you killed it. You fucking killed it. I can't fucking believe how you killed it. You set the bar, and I'm struggling here. I've got so much homework to do. Stop doing good. Stop being good at what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm Johnny in the Video Store Cowboy. You can see me tomorrow night with Sam over on Unmade Gaming's channel as we do our fun and great adventure, Blaze of Glory, and I'm not going to say the other dirty name that we call it, where we play scum and villainy and have a good time. Space fuckery is basically what it is. Throughout the rest of the week, you can see me on my channel as I fire up and start, fleshing out these characters and doing that Kelsa level dedication and homework, because holy shit, there's a lot to do. And then on Friday, you can find me over on Arvin Eleron for his version of Space Opera, which is playing Esper Genesis, and that's a good old time as well. And then, of course, we'll be back here next week. So thanks, Arthur, for running this. This is freaking awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad we finally
us.
got launched. And yeah, thanks.
I'm just glad to be here. Sam, I believe that you are our counterclockwise E. I gotta stop calling you Sam. The Wizenedfool. Wise fool.
Wise. Yeah.
I just call you fool, right? Instead of wise?
You can call me whatever you want. You can call me whatever you want, Arthur.
I will call you the dark leg of turkey covered in gravy then. That's
perfect. Perfect. Hi, I am Sam, Wise Fool, Wizenedfool, the Wizenedfool on Twitter. I had a good time. I know I didn't do much tonight because between technical difficulties and traveling, but I am super excited. I had a blast, and you know, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this whole order system and some machinations, and just you know, getting to muck about in this cool world. That I have a bunch of useless trivia knowledge for that I can just like sprinkle on top of everything. So yeah, I'm going to be again, playing with VSC in the GM seat tomorrow on Unmade Gaming's channel, where I play a goofy con man with a silly voice. So yeah, come by and watch that if you want to see more. And otherwise, you can see me back here next week. That's what I got.
Sorry, I muted my mic. Cotton. Yes, hello.
My mic wouldn't unmute.
Yeah, I know that problem.
Hi, I'm Cotton. I doodle and stuff. I also didn't do a whole lot because I was traveling. That's all. You can find me on Twitter, or you could join my Discord if you want to play Pokemon Detective.
How would they do that if they really wanted to do a play-by-post Discord game of Pokemon Detectives with you?
Well, they could either ask me in the chat now, or they could get onto your Discord and I'll send them a link.
Excellent. Anything else?
Nope.
Cotton, thank you. Kelsa, let's talk about you.
Hello. As I said before, I'm Kelsa, and I play role-playing games on the internet. You can follow me on Twitter at Kelsa. In addition to finding out when I'm going to be going live with various games, you also get pictures of my dog and occasionally spiders. What?
I don't recall any spiders, but sure.
I mean, maybe most of those just go to Instagram. It's fine. Anyway, in addition to this show, which is a lot of fun and I'm very excited for, as you can tell by all of the homework that I did, I play on my own channel on Mondays over at twitch.tv/KelsaDelphi. We are playing a playtest of a very strange game specifically designed to be played on Twitch. It's a role-playing game where we are all reality TV stars. And the reality TV show that we are producing is specifically for eldritch horrors who have kidnapped us from our real lives. Those eldritch horrors are played by Twitch chat.
I often feel like I'm a eldritch horror.
Yeah. So that's really cool. We play that every other Monday. On Tuesdays, I play D&D, where I play a half-orc barbarian. And he smashes things with his warhammer. He is out to avenge his sister, and I don't know, maybe stop the savage tide, I guess, in the process. That might happen. We'll see. On Thursday, I run a game of Scum and Villainy over on Party Wipe Games channel, and that game is super fun. It's called Packet Loss. Last week, we did a race, where there was an illegal race on the planet of Boftama, which is just a completely mined out husk. So there's lots of weird canyons and stuff that could be obstacles. That was super fun, and I really love that game a lot. So, yeah, you can find me on Thursdays. That's that day. Boy, I know what days of the week there are. Anyway, that's my current lineup. There's one more show that is on the docket I'm super, super excited about. We're going to be playing a Blades in the Dark hack of Legend of Korra. It's called Republic City by Night. This actually takes place before Legend of Korra. Korra has not actually come to Republic City yet. That's going to be really cool, but the start date on that is still pending, as that game is also a playtest and literally still being written. So that will be soon, though.
What is that sports game that they have in Legend of Korra? The 3 different position types?
Pro bending?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. The
Pro
underground pro bending scenario, people knifing each other in the dark to make sure that the top pro bender goes down.
Yeah, it's good.
Nice. I'm in.
That's what I want to see. Yeah. Friends. I believe that passes it to me. I'm Arthur Perkins. I've run 50 different tabletop role-playing game systems over the internet and recorded it here for you to watch. This is merely the latest one. This hack is a hack. It is being held together with baling wire, and we're figuring things out, but hopefully we've entertained you enough to come back for another taste next week. If we can get the show next week and everyone shows up and there are no problems, and also Twitch works. So assuming that it can congeal into a point of infinite darkness like I do when I turn into my true eldritch horror form, we will take that congelation and spread it all over your screen, and we will call it this show. That went really weird. We'll be back next week. Have a good night.